This is Interview Connections TV. I'm your host, Jessica Rhodes, and in today's episode, I want to talk about pre-calls. Now, I have posted a couple times on Facebook, do you do pre-calls? Either as a host, do you do pre-calls with your guests, like a separate call aside from the interview? And then for guest experts, do you initiate a pre-call with the host who is going to be interviewing you? And almost everyone's like, no, they're a waste of time. I don't do them. You know, the show's not big enough for it to do a pre-call, blah, blah, blah. Well, I kind of thought the same thing until my client, Dave Sanderson, tells me that he does pre-calls and he gets some serious results from his interviews. So he does a pre-call with every interview that we book him on as a guest expert. And on that pre-call, he focuses on what is their show about, who is the target audience, and how can they make this show a great episode for that audience. And it really helped him. In fact, he shared a story about how he was on a podcast called, or I don't know what it was called, but it was about like feng shui. And he was so funny. He's like, I don't know what feng shui is. Like, he didn't understand the topic. So that pre-call allowed him to understand the topic of the show and then craft his interview and his answers in a way that was most beneficial to the audience. So do pre-calls take a lot more time? Yes. But you could think of it this way. You get out of interviews what you put into them. So if you just have that 30-minute interview with the podcaster and that's the only time you're connecting with them, great. But if you have a separate call, the relationship is going to go deeper and you'll get more out of it. So reconsider if you do pre-calls or not. If you want to learn more about how you can grow your business leveraging podcast interviews, get a copy of my book. It's called Interview Connections, How to Rock the Podcast from Both Sides of the Mic. You can get it for free at interviewconnectionsbook.com. Thanks everyone. I will talk to you next Tuesday.